Some stories are told in whispers. Some are told in shouts. But there are those stories, those that grow in the dark like secrets, until one day the light finds them. And when it does, the truth stings louder than lies. This is one of those stories. They called her Chinyere. Her name meant God gave, but for many years, life gave her only pain. She was the last child of a poor family in a quiet Nigerian town where the roads were dusty and the days were long. Her mother sold roasted corn by the roadside. Her father was sick with coughs that never left. Her two older brothers had gone to the city and never looked back. Chinyere had grown up with struggle in her blood. From the age of 9, she was already washing plates in people's homes to help her mother. But even in poverty, she smiled. Even when there was no food, she would sing. She was the kind of girl who could make people laugh, even with a tear in her own eye. But deep inside her, Chinyere carried a small dream, not to travel abroad or become famous, but to one day open a small food shop of her own. She wanted people to taste her food and feel joy. She believed food could heal the heart. When she turned 24, after saving for nearly 4 years, she finally did it. She rented a little space beside an old mechanic workshop. The shop had no ceiling, just a wooden door, a leaking zinc roof, and 2 plastic chairs. But to Chinyere, it was a palace.
Ow!
She painted the walls yellow and blue, cleaned the floor with broom and rag, and hung a small sign that read, Kai's Corner, Home of Taste. On the first day, she made jollof, rice, and beans. Only one customer came, a young man who ate half the plate, nodded, and walked away without saying much. The second day, nobody came. The third day, an old woman entered, sniffed the stew, shook her head, and left. By the end of the first week, Chinyere had sold only 3 plates of food. Her smile began to fade. The excitement in her eyes turned to worry. The little money she had left was almost gone, and the ingredients were spoiling. She sat on the floor of her shop and cried softly, her face buried in her knees. Meanwhile, her neighbor's other food sellers were doing well. One had 4 pots of soup boiling at once. Another had customers shouting her name from the roadside. Even children lined up at their doors. Chinyere would watch them from her window, her chest heavy with shame. "What is wrong with my food?" she whispered to herself. Every night she tried to change something. She added more pepper. She added more magi. She tried more onions, more oil, even fried her meat longer. But still, people came, tasted, and left. Then one Sunday evening, while she was cleaning her table, someone walked in. A woman with red lips, fake lashes, and a bag that looked too expensive for the street. It was Ngozi Chinyere's childhood friend. They had played together as children, fetched water together, even shared puff-puff after school. But after secondary school, Ngozi left the town and started hustling in the city. Nobody knew exactly what she did, but she always came back with new clothes and gold earrings. Chi-Chi. Ngozi called, smiling wide and opening her arms. Chinyere dropped her mop and ran to hug her. For a moment, it felt like old times. They sat and talked. Ngozi looked around the shop, then looked at her friend with pity. "So this is your shop?" "Yes," Chinyere said softly, "but it's not doing well." Ch clicked her tongue. "Chai, you try, but you still day suffer." "I don't know what else to do," Chinyere said. "People say my food has no flavor. I've tried everything. I cook clean. I pray. I work hard, but nothing is working." Ngozi leaned closer. Her voice dropped low. "Can I tell you something? Something that will help you, but you must promise to never tell anyone." Chinyere nodded slowly. "There's a way to make people love your food. It's not ordinary, but it works." Chinyere blinked. "You mean juju?" Ngozi laughed. "Juju. Just a little help from the earth, something many successful women use." Chinyere didn't speak. Ngozi continued, "There's a chief priest. He gives something small to add to your stew. It makes your food sweet in people's mouths. Will not know why, but they will keep coming back." Chinyere shook her head. "That's not my way." "You think all those other women use only onions and pepper?" Ngozi asked. "This world is not fair, my dear." Good girls suffer. Wise girls survive. That night, Chinyere sat in her room in silence. She looked at her mother's picture on the wall, then at the bags of unsold rice beside her. Her eyes burned, but no tears came. Her heart was tired. Her hands were clean, but her stomach was empty. She thought about the unpaid rent, about the shame, about the dream that was slowly dying. By morning, she had made up her mind, and Gozi came. With a bike and took her far, far away past the main road, through a bush path, and into a thick forest where the sun couldn't enter. They reached a small shrine built with red mud and palm leaves. At the center sat an old man, his eyes white, his chest bare, his face painted with chalk. He smiled when he saw Chinyere. "You want your pot to never go dry?" he asked. She nodded slowly. He opened a small black bag and brought out a fine black powder. "This," he said, "is the tongue's master. But it must be mixed with fresh maggots from the dustbin. When cooked well, the maggots will melt into the food. No one will know, but their mouth will never forget your taste." Chinyere felt her stomach turn. "Maggots." The priest nodded. "Do you want respect or regret?" Her hands shook as she took the powder. That night, Chinyere waited until dark, wore a scarf over her face, and crept behind her shop. She opened her waste bin, used a stick to push aside the dirt, and found them white, fat, crawling maggots. She held her breath, picked them into a nylon bag, and ran back inside. She cooked, like her life depended on it. Oil, pepper, meat, then 2 spoons of powder, then the maggots. She stirred and stirred until they melted into the stew. The smell didn't change. The color didn't change. The food looked just like always. But by morning, something had changed. Her first customer, a man who worked at the fuel station, took one bite and smiled. "Chai, madam, is your food sweet? Well. By 9 a.m., more people came. By noon, the shop was full. By evening, her pots were empty, and her dream had begun to rise. She counted more money that day than she had ever seen in her life. Ngozi called her that night and laughed. "I told you, didn't I? Welcome to the winning side." In 1 week, Chinyere became the most popular food seller in the area. People came from other streets, other towns, just to taste her food. Children danced as they waited. Mothers sent their housemaids. Even men in suits stopped their cars to buy, and every 2 days. Before dawn, Chinyere would wear a scarf, hide her face, and return to the dump site to collect her maggots. She thought no one noticed, but one person saw. A man who lived nearby. A quiet man who walked early every morning. He stood behind a parked car and watched her. He didn't say anything, but he saw everything, and soon, the truth, the dirty, crawling truth, would come to light. Some secrets walk on silent feet. They hide under smiles, grow under praise, and dance under success. But no matter how far they go, one day, just one small light, and they fall like dust. That day came for Chinyere, and it came fast. Her food shop, Kai's Corner, had become the pride of the area. From school children to bankers, everyone talked about how sweet her food tasted. Women copied her recipes, men saved her number. Even pastors ordered from her shop. People said she was blessed. People said she was lucky. But no one knew the real truth, that deep in her stew was not just oil and onions, but maggots and black charm powder. 2 months after her business took off, things started to shift. People in the area began falling sick. At first, it was just 1 or 2 children with stomach pains, a woman with serious diarrhea. But then the numbers grew. Clinics became full. Hospitals started asking questions. The sickness spread like fire. Vomiting, weakness, typhoid, infection. And no one could say where it came from. Everyone was guessing. Some blamed the water. Others blamed the fruit sellers. But one quiet man knew something. He had seen Chinyere more than once behind her shop. He saw her digging in her bin, picking things with a stick and rushing back into her kitchen. At first he thought maybe she was mad. Maybe she was collecting plastic. But something didn't sit right. He didn't speak. He only watched. Then one night someone returned to Chinyere's shop, not as a friend, but as a storm waiting to break everything apart. It was Njozi, the same Njozi who introduced her to the black powder. She entered the shop, not smiling this time. Her arms folded, her earrings swinging like warning bells. Chinyere was surprised. Njozi? Why are you here? Josie leaned on the wall. I want my share. You are making big money now. Don't pretend you don't remember who helped you. Chinyere looked at her. Did you cook with me? Did you suffer with me? Why should I give you anything? Ngozi's face darkened. Because without me, you'd still be crying over empty pots. I didn't force you, Chinyere said. You offered it. Now you want to blackmail me? Njozi laughed coldly. If you don't give me what I want, I'll show them.
Oh.
Show everyone what's in your stew. Chinyere's smile faded. Go ahead, nobody will believe you. Are you sure? Ngozi said, walking out slowly. Let's see. That night, Ngozi went straight to the elders of the community. These were old men with walking sticks, white beards and deep eyes. They were respected, feared, and known to speak only when it mattered. Njozi knelt before them as tradition demanded. Elders, she said, I have something heavy on my heart. It is about one of our daughters. They listened. She told them. Everything, the charm, the maggots, the priest in the forest. The elders sat in silence. One finally spoke. Do you have proof? Njozi looked down. Not yet, but I can get it. The oldest elder nodded. Then get it. Till then, this matter stays between us. Njozi left the room with a plan already forming in her mind. She knew every corner of Chinyere's kitchen. She knew the time she cooked, the spot she kept the powder, the exact spoon she used to stir the pot. The next evening, she returned to the shop. This time she came with fake tears and soft words. Chi-Chi, she said, kneeling. I'm sorry. I was jealous. Didn't mean to talk that way. Please forgive me. Chinyere was shocked. You saying sorry? I miss our friendship, Njozi said. Let me help you like before. Let me join you in the kitchen tonight, just like old times. Chinyere hesitated, then sighed. Fine. Be here by 10 p.m. But Njozi didn't. Go home. She went straight to the house of one elder and knocked. By midnight, 2 trusted elders followed her in secret. They didn't bring a crowd. Just themselves, their wisdom, and their mobile phones with cameras. Inside the kitchen, Chinyere was smiling as she boiled water. Ngozi handed her a nylon bag. Here, she said. Use this. Chinyere didn't ask questions. She poured the maggots into the stew, added 2 spoons of the black powder, stirred like always. Outside, the elders watched and recorded everything. By morning, Njozi came. Early again, acting like a good helper. She helped serve customers. The shop was full. People were laughing, eating, licking their fingers, a pregnant woman said. Madam, give me 1 extra plate for my husband. A boy shouted. Kai's Corner sweet, pass my mummy food. Chinyere stood at the back, counting money and smiling. She was already thinking of opening a second branch. Her dream was growing fast. Then a loud knock. Boom, boom, boom. She turned. Quickly the door burst open. The elders entered. Behind them stood angry villagers, men. Women, children, faces full of questions and fear. What's going on? Chinyere asked, confused. One elder stepped forward. We saw it with our eyes. We have it on video. We know what you've been putting in the food. Chinyere's heart dropped. What are you talking about? Another elder raised the phone and played the recording. Everyone saw it, Chinyere opening the nylon, pouring in the maggots, adding the black powder and stirring. Gasps filled the room. People dropped their plates. Some spat out food. A man rushed outside and started vomiting. Child cried loudly. Chinyere fell to her knees. Please, I'm sorry. I was desperate. I had no job, no support. I just wanted to survive. No one cared. Health officers came and sealed the shop. She was arrested on the spot. As they dragged her out, one elder asked quietly, Who gave you this idea? She hesitated. then looked up slowly and whispered it was Njosi. Gasps again. Everyone turned to Njosi. Her smile vanished. Me? We're the one who used it. I only told you. But you took me there, Chinyere shouted. You said it works. You didn't have to do it. Njosi screamed back. You made it your lifestyle. But the elders had heard enough. You both played with the health of this community, one said. You both hid evil behind smiles. Ghazi was arrested too, and that was how the truth came out. People were heartbroken. Some went to the hospital. Not because they were sick, but because the truth was too heavy for their minds. They had been eating filth. They'd been feeding their children with stew cooked with maggots. Chinyere's mother collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. Her father locked himself in the house for 3 days. The chief priest who made the powder was found, stripped, and paraded through the market. His shrine was destroyed. His name was cursed. The elders warned every food seller in the town. Shops were checked. All food vendors had to pass health tests. The town changed forever. And Chinyere, the girl who once only dreamed of joy, had become a tale people would never forget. A tale not of flavor but of fear. A tale of how a quiet girl, hungry for success, stirred more than stew. She stirred the trust of an entire town and lost everything.